Right. No, Zipo, as we talk about cyber crimes and digital rights, what are digital rights?
Digital rights are the new rights that we should really be concerned about citizens, because when we talk about human rights, people look at the physical. But right now, a lot of activities happening in the virtual space. So we're not talking about digital rights. We're now talking about issues of really promoting, protecting, and supporting the citizens in attaining those digital rights.
But also, when it comes to Zimbabwe, because of Zimbabwe, do people know about these rights? Are they well educated about these rights?
It's very unfortunate that it's the fourth revolution is still new, and people have not actually taken issues of digital technologies as a right. But people know the need, but they have not taken the development approach or the human rights-based approach to it. But people do know that I do need access to e-data, but e-data price is expensive. Already those are right issues that we should be talking about, because already that's a denial of access to what? To information according to our constitution.
So if we trace back to the history in Zimbabwe, earlier when we were speaking about the history and digital rights in Zimbabwe, can you take us back to the history? What are the events that have happened in Zimbabwe in terms of our digital?
I'll start with the demographics. If you really study Zimbabwe, only 0.3% of the population had access to internet in 1999. That's not even 1%. But the usage of internet has increased over the past years. And I'll give an example. In 2014, we're talking about 48%. That was almost half. And there's the reason why I'm pointing out 2014, because there were a lot of issues around there if you look at issues of electoral processes. But as of 2019, early this year, we're talking about 57.6%, almost 58% of the Zimbabwean population actually utilizing ICT. So that's the consumption we have as a nation. More than half of the population actually depend on the virtual space.
So also the cyber bill was passed in the draft of cyber bill 2016, 2017 in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
But it was passed by the cabinet of Zimbabwe. It's yet to be debated by the parliament. So take us through the Cyber Bill Act. What are the implications of the cyber bill to the user, the common use of social media?
Okay, so it's very crucial that we understand why suddenly we're talking about the cyber bill and cyber security. I like to highlight the security part, because governments are now coming in. Why? Because they are noticing it is the digital space that is actually pushing the political landscape. If you look at the uprising, the Arab uprising, it was actually done through what? Through digital space. So if you look at Kenya, this is not just about Zimbabwe. Kenya, they now talk about issues of fake news. You move to Tanzania and Uganda, they talk about computer misuse. A good example is Stella, where you are told that you cyber-bullied a president who does not even have a Facebook account. How is he being bullied? You understand? So the reason, the motive behind the cyber bill and cyber security, the ideology is to protect the citizens. But in reality, African governments are using it to whip people in line, because the digital rights has brewed a movement which has actually mobilized opposition. All the opposition forces and parties and general activists have actually been using the digital space. So yes, the bill came through to Zimbabwe, but there are one or two issues that we need to look at it. When you look at the constitution, when a bill is coming in, remember a bill is coming in to fulfill the constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. And there are a lot of promises and aspirations that we have from the constitution, specifically if you look at access to information, non-discrimination, things like that. But if we are now having a cyber that is actually serving, blocking, scrutinizing what you post, what to post, what not to post, it becomes dramatic. It's like yesterday there was a court case over someone who would use their right of freedom of expression and say the president has failed. And you find the government finds it problematic. You even get arrested. But where is that freedom? Because freedom of expression is not only verbal, it's also done digital. So this is where citizens should really come in now that this is being tabled in Parliament. This is the opportunity where we contribute, we put position papers, we put petitions around it so that the repressive part of it is addressed. But I'm happy that the cyber crime and cyber security also looks at issues of fake news. Fake news is senzima. You know, every year there's always the same story which becomes twisted or tabloids. Although we know in reality when it comes to our economy and politics in Zimbabwe, it is the social media that first brings it to the people. The government denies, then the next morning the price has increased. So it's two-sided. We just need to balance it, but citizens need to make sure this act, which will be this bill, which will be an act, should actually work for us.
However, the Cyber Bill Act, they're saying it's going to protect the citizens. But however, we see it's protecting the state, not the citizens. Now, if you look again at Uganda, they use social media to text people, which is the limited number of people using social media. So, can you say the Cyber Bill Act can now limit the number of users? People can now be scared to express themselves on social media?
Definitely. Because now, I just want, in 2015, Mugabe received a gift from Iran, which was on cyber surveillance machinery. Apparently, it's called the Mobile Subscriber Identity User, which some of you might know it as grabbers. These are gadgets that can be placed outside, let's say, an opposition party's gate, embassies, and all. You get it? It's a grabber. So, umuntu kasakhululekanga to exercise what they feel and what they should do according to the constitution, because the government, as they claim they protect, they're actually also diminishing and shrinking the civic space through digital usage.
So now let's bring back to Zimbabwe, bring to Bulawayo. January 16 events in Bulawayo, they shut down Bulawayo. But we saw citizens now using social media to report and expose human rights violations. So now let's drop closer to Zimbabwe. How have you been using social media to report gross human rights violations that happen in Zimbabwe?
Sikunanzeleleni ukuthi kwathi kusanda ukwenzakala okwenzakalayo koBulawayo, the next day kwasogcela ama-swatcher in all the major roads getting into the city, and babebuzani babedingani wonke umuntu wayedle phone babekhangela, and they would look at videos, ask you even to delete, meaning the government has a role to protect its image, good or bad. They never wanted the outside world to know, because this is apparently a new dispensation, though we know it's still the same old wine, still the same ZANU. But the new dispensation under ED government has the role to claim a new fantasy, I'll put it, because they are fulfilling. So konokhana kwenzakala koBulawayo yindlela yikho sikhuma ama-digital rights, indlela ukuthi kungazakali, because right now globalization is now under digitalization, and it's unfortunate that governments are failing, or it's fortunate that they're failing to control that. So konoko kubanjela ifoni kufanana la khathesi, according to this bill that we're debating, nxa sikuthile we know who you are, ungo-Brighton. As this state, we find you a nuisance, we have a file for you, you are a threat, you know. Nxa ubanjwa, notice the trend that has been happening in the past years. All activists and people nxa bebanjwa bathathelwa amafoni. Nxa senguthathele ngiyakwanisa ukukuthumela iphone kunamba yakho. Nxa ule auto download isingenile. Nxa sembamba ifoni yakho, nxa ngishwele what to charge you. Remember, most people get into sales and they need to dig charges. That on its own is a criminal offense, because you're found with what? So that's how bad the cyber bill is. No one, I would think so. So we are going to get a chain. Yes, it doesn't mean because that is the evidence that is used in the court of law. We are watching. So that's how pathetic it is. Now, so many sense of to push for what we want more. So, annually, issues of data are expensive. Even issues of connectivity speed is pathetic, and even issues of restrictions on other particular webs. But let's start from where we are. And I think we now, especially to young people, we now need to rethink on what really matters. There are different social media platforms used for particular causes. WhatsApp is not a forum for young people when they want to push regime political change. Yisikhathi sokuthi sizwisise ukuthi iTwitter isebenza njani. Yisikhathi sokuthi iCitizen journalism isebenza njani. Xa uthatha ifoto yakho usegodini ureport ukuthi kuhambe so asifundeni ukuthi sizasebenza njani ngakhona okwesilakho.
Tell me now to talk about social media as well as democracy. How have you been using social media to promote democracy in Africa? Or how has the government been stifling social media in terms of avoiding democracy to promote it in Zimbabwe?
You see, rights have responsibilities. And it's very unfortunate that citizens wanna baqina nge-fake news. My message WhatsApp. So kube le accident nxa lo mntwana sesikoleni nje unanzelele and the school is saying le bus ayinjani ayiphumanga. So lathi as citizens siyaphambanisa because we spread fake news. So we abuse social media because ungacabanga i-trauma that people go through. Even ukuthi umuntu usense data ubala mangakho. But nxa sesikhala issues of governments. Governments are known specifically in Africa. Okay, I'll give you an example. What January this year, the ZANU-PF-led government, yavala internet. Apparently in Africa, so far in 2019, we've got 22, if not 23 countries which have actually had internet shutdowns. And the governments are actually trying to what? Saying they're trying to protect. But what happened in the internet shutdown in January? It was people who were using social media to protest over the 150% fuel price hike, which the president had announced. So if you're talking about social media, people have the right to express. And when they're trying to express themselves and the government is feeling critics, so what do?
Shut down.
They shut down. So each challenge is a way the government is failing to maintain space on it. So uzananze uthi idemocracy iyahlukumezeka. And unanzelela ukuthi even sesibuya ku past election ZANU-PF had issues of bots. When I'm talking about bots, it's creating fake accounts on social media to amplify. Suddenly, if you go online and you study and you analyze, there was now a trend whereby post and they amplify the voices of what the party is doing and so forth. So actually parties are using that to push for or against democracy. But it becomes toxic because it's now used in electoral processes.
Right. So let's take an break. We'll be back for the third segment. Right now, let's talk about freedom of expression, freedom of speech. It comes with the responsibilities and limitations. But people express themselves on Twitter, on Facebook. But now, the consequences, what can you say about those things?
Ulenda bokuthiwa he hate speech. It's very unfortunate ukuthi kuba subjective ukuthi hate speech injani because mina ngilihole ngavele ngikhulume ngithi wena shona omunye umuntu would find it tribalistic, though when someone calls me Ndebele it will be like okay uthengile Ndebele. So I'm trying to highlight ukuthi nxa sesifika, remember you cannot be in Harare, you cannot be in SA, kodwa nxa ufuna ukukhuluma lo muntu you're going to use social media. So forum esisensayo and people are now using it to do indaba ze fake news to go hate speech lan. It's kuba subjective angithi, and you find ukuthi when it comes to issues of electoral processes they call it cyber terrorism. Like if you remember indaba Edmond Kukudzai, if you remember on 2014 July, actually that's charge it's up to 20 years jail. So I think okunye esintwini ngobuntu bethu, like one thing about us as Africa Kibori, we're pivoted on ubuntu because we believe in the African nature of things. Ebuntwini bethu kulezi izinto esingesingazikhuluma. In as much ngiza kutshela ngesitho sika nyoko kodwa ngeke ngakubeka bhaqa. Ngizadinga amazwi angani ahlambulukile. You understand? So I think people need to be more diplomatic, have more tact, and understand what is cyberbullying yahlupha. You know, right now we've got a crop of children and young people who use the digital online space, and these kids are being bullied, and people have actually had suicide abantu bazibulala. So asikucabangeni ukuthi into leyi nxa ngibhala nxa into leyi ifikela kimi ifikela kumfazi wami or umntanami ingangikhuba or ngithathe kanjani. That is how you know how to what to deal with it.
Just Africa, what can you expect from you guys going forward? 2020, what can you expect from you guys?
So already we have a project on internet governance, and as I said, this month when we month National Cyber, we're supposed to launch 2020, but this month we're actually launching another digital hub where we're engaging with the civic society, Amanango, to come in and actually analyze cyber bill and cyber protection. And we're saying which laws are repressive, which we should deal with. So meaning from there, people are empowered and people are able to voice their voices to a parliament. Ngapha were actually working on a petition, but a petition is not just on Africa Kiburi. So right now we're in a process of gathering suggestions, as we're saying, with abantu wanabathini, as women, as young people, and as abantwana, children who go online, things like that. What's our way forward? So yes, the position paper is there. We're working on petitions, and well, we've already started having talks like with Honorable Membus Banda, where media, ICT, AMA portfolio, because these are the portfolios we're dealing with before we actually send the petition. So in related to digital rights, this is where we stand as Africa Kiburi. And more importantly, right now, when it comes to AMA marginalized communities beyond, we're working with an institution called Asakhe now, which are actually willing to come in and train people virtually on how to use the digital rights to push AMA movement abo. And we're actually trying to have more trainings on on citizen journalism with abantu laba, because people should curate into leyo ukuthi sikhulumela abantu lapha esiphambana khona, asifundiseni abantu ukuthi benjani bezikhulumele. So even that is still a position sikhuluma isifiso sethu ukuthi the people who we represent balemlomo laba banjani abakhulume. So that's the two-tier approach that we're having for 2020 December.
So in closing, example, what can you say to the social media users? What can you say to someone watching this show about their rights, digital rights, be any right? What can you say to them about their freedom of expression?
We have come to a point where internet is like water for some of us. Businesses, even ukuthi umuntu ezelale kumele uthole imessage la I love you angithi. So kuqhakathekile. So when you get in, be cautious that you protect yourself. There are people who can hack you and abuse particulars yakho. So be very sure on the data you give out, and also be very sure on the sites you visit, because abantu visiting to the advert le ivelanga abantu abanenzela ukuthi kule nto kuthiwa ama-cookies. When you're going to talk ku WhatsApp ukhuluma ngokuthi ashwimwe landani, uzathola ama-advert eswimwe. And if you're going to be googling i-pornography, kwethusi wenza i-presentation kule projector phambili kuchaya i-pop-up yokuthi here's a sex chat. So people should be aware ukuthi i-terrain esihambayo, it can be very, very nasty, but at the same time, that is the tool that we have for advocacy, for the change to build better societies.
Zaipo, thanks so much for joining us in this show.
Thank you for having me.
Right, that has been Know Your Right. I was joined by Nozipho Zaipo Moyo. She's the director and founder of Kiburi Africa. This has been Know Your Right, discussing digital rights as well as commemorating the month of digital rights here in Zimbabwe. Till next time, to follow us on Twitter at CITEZW, to follow me on Twitter at #Asakhe.